This video is brought to you by Extreme Teas. Click on the link below. Make sure you put Kevin in the promo code and you'll get a 20% discount. Hello, caller. You are on the air with Kevin in Kevin's Corner. Who am I speaking with?
Hello, Kevin.
Well, hello.
Hello. Hi, Kevin. It's from Germany. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, y'all, from Germany. Do you believe that?
First, I want to thank you for your loyalty and your consistency. I always follow you because I think you're very truthful, true American. And we are so heartbroken to see what's going on in the United States. But one thing is for sure, this election is not about Biden or Trump. It's an election of life and death. Yep. But the Democrats don't understand something. Their biggest enemy is not Trump or the Republican Party. Their biggest enemy is millions of believers like me that have been praying since March when God gave us the revelation of what is coming. They want to tear down the fabric of America. They want to destroy the heavenly foundations that took this country to be the biggest nation in the world. This is what they want to tear down. And we've seen this, and the Lord told us to wake up and pray. And we have been praying since March, non-stop. Do you think Ruth died for a reason? Why do you think God took Ruth at this time? God is the master strategist. You watch them. Because what we see on the streets of America is heartbreaking. You can't even explain. It's inexplainable. I don't understand how any political party, regardless of your differences, how they will encourage people to ruin people's businesses, to go on the street to riot, to stop us from worshiping God. But one thing they should know, if they don't let us go to the churches, we're going to worship on the streets. This time, there's no holding us back. The church has been sleeping for so long, but the true church is awake, and we are their greatest enemy, and they cannot silence us. And for Biden and Harris, they're going nowhere. They're going nowhere. And in all honesty, the Democrat Party is the biggest fraud in modern day politics, because they've been able to align themselves to the whole world like they've been the party for freedom, the party for the black people. They've done this for so many decades, and people bought this lie. They are a fraud. They are a fraud, and it's just so shameful to see that even fellow black people still refuse to wake up to see the thing before their very eye. You don't have to like Trump's personality. Separate the person from the policy. Look at what he's doing. Don't be a stupid fool. Don't let them lead you to the gallows. They're going to come in the name of, I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you something free. At the end of the day, they're going to give you no shit. They're not going to give you no shit. All they want is to rip off all the basic human freedom that God gave us at creation. They want to destroy all these things. And this is how they want to pull down the United States, by making globalism take over the country, the only country that still stands for freedom and rights and hope. What are they talking about? America is a racist country, and millions of black people want to go into America every day? What are you talking about? If they're looking for a racist country, I can name so many countries that are racist. Trust me, but not the United States of America. Not the United States of America. So what I want to say tonight, I want to encourage all Americans. This is not the time to be weak. This is the time to stand strong. There is no holding us back. You know, when all this pandemic, we call it a pandemic because they knew what they did. How come the virus came out just after Trump had a speech at the United Nations trying to pull down the globalists? He had that speech in the UN. A few months later, the virus was unleashed. You think it's normal? It ain't normal. People just need to open their eyes and see beyond their nose. These things are deep, and it's all about destroying this country. Yep. And any love in America, be you Democrat, be you Republican, be you independent, America may not be perfect, but you should not let people destroy your country. I'm not an American, but I weep every day for this country. I have almost all my family in the United States. I've tried to win them over to be Republicans because I just said, you raised us to be Republicans. You raised up in Republican values. Why are you voting Democrats? Open your eyes. And the ones that are stubborn, I say, you know what, I'm not going to beg you. But But one thing is for sure, God is going to rise up the people from the mountains, from the valleys, from the hills to go and put that vote in to bring Trump back. If he won't do it, he's going to do it. Just like the case of Esther in the Bible, when she said, maybe I'm in the palace for such a time like this. If they're not going to vote, God is going to bring them. He will bring them from the hills, from the valley. He will bring them, and that vote will bring him back. And all the plans of the Democrats, we know, because the Democrats are not coming to this election to win. They want to take over. Because if they want to come to win, how would they put Biden and Kamala? These are not viable candidates. Nobody likes Kamala Harris. Biden is demence. So the Democrats is a joke. We know that it's not to win. They've come to its takeover. You heard the words of Cortez and the rest of them a few days ago. They shouldn't put in a new Supreme Court justice until we install a new president. Install? Do you install or do you elect a president? Americans, wake up. Don't let people fool you. Black Lives Matter is not about BLM. There's so many issues affecting the black community that Black Lives Matter don't fight about. What about the destruction of the family unit? What about bad education? What about all those things? What about black people who kill themselves on the street of Chicago, on the street of Baltimore every day? Why don't Black Matters come to protest? Why is it that it's only when a policeman shoots a black man they come to protest? And in some cases, maybe the policeman even has the right to protect himself. You understand what I'm saying? So there are people behind this movement for their own selfish agenda, which we know is to bring in a new world order. This is their agenda, but the truth is not yet their time. This is the time of the church. Their time is coming, but this is not their time, and they're not going to take it away from us. So, Kevin, I won't take too much of your time. Just tell the American people this is a battle, and the Bible says the battle is the Lord, but the victory is ours. We put our trust in God. We don't put our trust in political party, not in any man, but in the God of Jacob, Abraham, and Isaac. And he has heard our prayers, and I know he's going to give us a second chance. Thank you so much. God bless you, and I appreciate your platform.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I felt I don't know what your religious beliefs are, but I felt some anointing in that call, in that caller. That was, you know what? It's very few times where I got to sit back and just let it go. Like, man, no need to even interrupt. You literally can just feel the anointing on that woman and the power in which she was saying and the clarity. Okay, because this woman is in Germany, and I believe I spoke to her before, and it's ironic that she called back because I referenced her a couple days ago when I was talking to a friend because she called a while back ago. And just so happened, she calls in tonight with a powerful message to Americans. Now, why can't Americans see what's going on? Unbelievable. Folks that are overseas can see it, but folks that are close up on it can't see it. And they have become such victims to this. Really, honestly, I might get in trouble. But really, it's more than just, I would say, a political grab or power grab. It's demonic. Honestly. I mean, you can tell that Trump has been stuck right in the middle of an agenda. He's been plugged in and stopped the leak. And I really believe God is using an unlikely source like Trump. A source that some might overlook and say, well, God would never use a guy like Trump. He doesn't speak good. He says his mind and it's rude. But that's why God would do it. So for all those with the arrogance and thinking that they know what God would use, who he could use, who he won't use, they won't see it. Those are the folks that would just go right over their head and they'll call you whatever. But they don't realize what Trump is stopping. And what she referenced is the last time he was over to that G7, I believe that she said, he came out of that meeting and told everyone, look, folks want us to become a global conglomerate group of countries, a global order. But he's like, I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. We're remaining sovereign. And I don't understand how folks that know one or two, maybe three scriptures cannot see what's going on. When I was a kid, growing up, going to Bible study in the summertime, children's Bible study, and my mom, it was a way for her to go kick it I'm dropping you off at Vacation Bible School. One thing I always would remember is little parts of like Book of Revelations and talking about the one world government and all that stuff. And I'd be like, you realize for that to happen, the strongest, most powerful country has to fall. You cannot believe that our country being on top would say, you know what? Right now, we're the number one country on the planet for our strength, military, economy. Let's give that all up and share it. It's not logical. So for that to happen and the people would embrace that, you have to attack America from the inside out. You can't attack them from the outside in. This is nothing more than Rome. They unraveled within before they got conquered from out. And when you see them prepping our students, our kids to hate the country, when you see them unleashing violence on our streets, sanctioning it, downplaying it, encouraging it, when you see all of that happening, that is a plan to destabilize our country. That is a plan to get a large portion of our citizens to just straight up hate the country. So therefore they would be more willing to surrender our sovereignty in the name of world justice and equality and all of that stuff. And I'm going, no, y'all don't see the bigger picture. Y'all think it's all about us holding hands singing, I like to teach the world to sing. No, we're not making a Coke commercial. When we surrender our sovereignty from a biblical standpoint, that's a problem. I mean, you don't want to be around when America says, all right, we've been broken financially and all that stuff. What is this whole global thing about? We're willing to listen. If you're around when that happens, that's a problem. I don't want to see it. And even if it's coming upon us right now, I'm not going to go along with it. I'm going to fight against it, not only from a political standpoint, but even a biblical standpoint, because a lot of Christians in America don't see that. And I'm thinking, man, how do you I heard you before quoting all kinds of, I don't even care if you're a backsliding Christian. If you know scriptures, you can see what's going on. And the fact that Trump has been attacked, do you think it's just those people? Do you think they're just that motivated? Or could it be something else motivating them and manifesting itself in these folks? They are vicious, they're angry, they're deceptive, and you can see it in their face. I think if they could get to Trump, they would rip him into pieces. Honestly, that's how mad they are. That's how much they hate this man. And they probably don't even know why they hate him. They're thinking that it's just his personality. They're thinking maybe it's his policies. No, it's something else about Trump that they don't like. And they really probably can't identify it. And I'm going to tell you how I know this. When I was a young boy, and I'm sorry, I got to piggyback off of what you said. When I was a young boy in college, I had a good friend, white dude. And this guy, he was one of my greatest fans. Wasn't on the football team, though. He was just in the dorm room. And me and this dude bonded. You know, he's one of the white guys that still hang out with all the black folks. You know, you didn't even look at him as white. He'd be out there on the dance floor dancing. So me and him became real good friends. Well, he comes to me one day and he says, Kev, I was in the dining hall and I ran into this girl. And I'm like, what? What's up with her? He's like, man, she's cute, man. I asked her if I could maybe, take her out or something. But she was like, hey, if you want to go out with me, why don't you just come to church? You can see me there. So me, I'm going, what? Dude, go to church, do what you got to do. Okay. Well, a couple of days later, this dude's starting to talk to me about, my faith, my beliefs, all that. And I'm going, whoa. You're messing up the plan. The plan was to go to church, show up, put your time in, and get something out of the time that you about to put in. And now you talking about church? You talking about this is getting serious? Then the cat come back talking about he's been baptized and born again and all that good stuff. Now, here was a guy that I loved. We were tight. After all of that happened, this guy would come knock on my door. And for some reason, I was disgusted. I did not. He would come in and I'd be looking at him like, why are you up in here? He didn't want to laugh at all the nasty jokes. He didn't want to watch certain things. He didn't want to hear about certain things. And that bothered me. I thought it was just him. I didn't realize there was something else that I was really hating. I'm thinking it's him, but it was the God in him the fact that God was using this guy, and everything about me hated it. I'm like, oh, just the fact, and I would even say stuff and he would make me look bad. Y'all, I'd be thinking, all right, let me see if I could test him. You on this Jesus thing, huh? Yeah, it's great, Kev. Yeah, that's cool. Well, check it out, man. I'm about to roll to this party. It's a couple honeys, man. They say, yo, you got a friend? And my man would be like, no, nah, Kev, I'm okay. I'm going to go head back to my room and pray. Oh, man. I was mad because he was highlighting me and the things that I was involved with and making me look bad. He didn't even condemn me. He wasn't judging me. He was letting the love and the light of God in him shine on me. And that's why I hated this dude. It had nothing to do with him. This was my boy. But I learned later, I know why I hated you, man, because you highlighted some of the stuff that I wasn't willing to look at in myself. So, same thing. All of these folks running around hating Trump, they think it's just because he got a nasty person. They don't realize Trump is a blessing in disguise. And then she mentioned the fact that the passing of Ruth Bader. I even said it on one of my videos I haven't uploaded yet. But I said, man, honestly, though, that was a blessing in disguise. Because if you let these Democrats get back in power, you already know what they're about, y'all. They are coming to play for keeps. And we got to keep our eyes open going into this next election because they about willing to do anything at this point.